All right, guys. So before we get started, we want to talk about our newest sponsors. Excalibur Rings is a veteran and owned operated business that specializes in tungsten handmade meteorite inlaid glow rings. If you guys and girls don't know about tungsten, it's one of the most rarest metals found on Earth.
Hell yeah. He makes it with his bare hands. Definitely not made in China. You can go visit his YouTube channel and to go watch him make them right now. And it's actually really dope.
Check it out.
He has clean designs. Billy personally likes the Atlantis one. I'm more of the fan of like the Nile ring Egyptian, like the texture of it and everything like that. It's super dope. Now, I posted a note on it, David Lund, and I've started with him back in 2008 in Iraq. Super cool ass dude with really even bigger dreams. So go check out his website and see how awesome he creates all these rings.
Check it out, guys. All right, so we have a discount code for you guys for 15% off. Just use the code TMH2021 at excaliburrings.com. That is TMH2021 at excaliburrings.com. All right, guys, go check it out. Check it out for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Let us know.
All right, ready?
Yeah, let's
Uno,
get it.
dos, tres. All right, guys, welcome to the Media Hijacked podcast. I'm your host, Billy Walters, and joining me is Chris, Unholy Jesus.
What up, fam? I'm sorry, what up, universe? How's everybody doing?
What's going on, Galactic Universe?
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, so if you guys want to buy some official t-shirts, head to themediahijack.com, grab you a t-shirt, send us some pictures, tag us. Also, if you guys want to catch the replay of this Twitch show, you can head over to our YouTube, catch the whole live show on YouTube. Also, you guys can follow us on Reddit. I'll leave all the links down below. And also, iTunes people, make sure you guys rate and subscribe. Give us a comment. Give us that 5 stars.
Oh, yeah, please.
Do it for us new cult member leaders.
Please, like, trying to get this ball rolling, man.
We are the gatekeepers.
Hell yeah.
We are the one who let the kids pass by.
Why do we go?
We're getting canceled.
That's a wrap.
Get permission slips from our parents, yeah.
Please.
All right, guys, so today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Heaven's Gate cult.
Hell yeah. One of my favorites.
Look, somebody in the comment talking about our Joe Rogan ripoff.
No shit, Sherlock.
They got it from us.
I ain't got time for this today.
We don't got time for this.
All right.
So Heaven Gates cult. All right, so basically what happened was back in like the early 90s, somebody made a cult, and then the end of the story, they all drank the Kool-Aid, and they all committed suicide so they can ride up on the UFO and take their body to the next level.
The next level.
And, back in, what happened in 97, right?
97, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like a cult of some wayward souls who didn't feel like they had a place in the world, and they felt like they didn't belong there, and they came along 2 people throughout the time, and a lot of them was like in the cult for like 20, 25 years or some shit. So it's been going on since like the 70s, and that's when, they felt like that they was getting pressed by the media, and then people started getting paranoid, and man, they made the hard choice to leave.
Yeah. It's a crazy story. Like, it's crazy, but the more I looked into it, I think they're on to something, man.
They might be on track to something. I mean, because they even talk about before in the documentaries, like a lot of their beliefs were still tied to Christianity for the most part. It's just that some things just kind of just went in their own, it took it on its own personality, I guess. But it gathers like a lot of its stuff from Christianity and whatnot, from Jesus and whatnot. So,
yeah, it's like a mixed bag of religions all packed into their one religion.
like Jesus being an alien. That's
Right.
what they was going with. So.
And it's like they know they're a cult. They didn't shy away from
Oh hell
the
no! They
word.
let it be known. Just like, yeah, we're cult.
They're like, yeah, we're the cults of all cults. I was like,
So they
I like that. You're straight up.
they embrace the brand.
You're not trying to trick people. You know? Like they just tell you shit straight up.
I will say this though, when I thought about, cause like I watch a lot of cult shit sometimes, like documentaries, because it's just like with how they convince people, I'm always curious about how they do it. But when I saw what this movement was with Heaven's Gate, even though it ended in a tragic way, if you look at it compared to something like what Jonestown's was to Jim Jones was far worse than what this was in every level. He was really trying to manipulate people, and when it came time for everybody to, drink the Kool-Aid, he forced a lot of people at gunpoint to drink the cyanide-laced Kool-Aid and shit. Like, kids would have to force to drink it, or sometimes he would have his soldiers hold down like kids and make them like force them to drink it. So it was some people that was like, I'll drink the Kool-Aid, and a lot of them didn't. But it was like all the people died. But with this, is like he didn't force nobody to do it or anything. It was all like, well, let's go to the mothership. Mm-hmm. Let's get off this trash planet.
Yeah, then, I mean, he eventually drank it himself too.
Yeah, and he drank himself too. Where Jim Jones was like, no, I'm not gonna drink it. He shot himself in the head. I'm like, okay, you pussy. So you'll make everybody else drink it, but you don't eat a bullet.
It's weird, like how during that time, like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s,
wild shit, man.
Big on cults. Even like in France, they had their own cult.
Mm-hmm. Well, cults and serial killers, man.
Yeah, now it's all calm and racist people again. Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna get started with this.
Let's get it.
All right, so Heaven's Gate is one of the most notorious cults in United States history. They had an obsession with UFOs. And when I heard about that, that's what caught my attention. Because I thought it was a normal cult where they just recruit people and then they killed them. Okay. But then I didn't know they had ties with the UFOs. Oh, like, yeah. The UFOs was a part of the story. Mm-hmm. So, I got intrigued. And I was like, let me look a little deeper and shit.
That's why I wanted to go to this topic. I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be right up your alley, man.
And so the creator of the cult is a man named Marshall Applewhite, and his nickname was Do.
Oh, Doe.
Doe. Doodoo.
Doodoo.
But I'm just called Applewhite.
Okay.
Okay. He was born in Texas on May 17, 1931. His father was a minister. He went to college to earn a bachelor's degree in philosophy in 1952. Around this time, he met a lady named Ann Pierce, and they got married and had 2 kids. Okay. You know he had 2 kids?
I think so, but I don't know if they ever disclosed their names, though.
They never spoke about it in the documentary, from what I remembered.
Yeah, I think they kept that shit a secret.
I was like, hey, you guys skipped the part of that. He had 2 kids, and he was married to a normal lady.
Yeah, they don't want to be identified with that shit, though.
So in 1954, he got drafted to the U.S. Army, and then he served in Austria and New Mexico. After the military, he went to the University of Colorado and got a master's in music. Then Mr. Applewhite, he got a job in Alabama teaching music. And in Alabama, this is where shit started getting weird. Mr. Applewhite, he had sexual encounters with a male student. Mm-hmm. His wife found out, divorced his ass.
The end.
So he was like, oh, I'm so lost right now. I don't know why am I having fantasies about male students.
And penis.
Because he was confused. He was like, why am I, feeling like this? So this is when he went to the psychiatric hospital to find out why he have like sexual feelings for guys and shit.
Not to mention, this is like back in the era where that shit was not acceptable. Yeah. So he's like, well, if something wrong with me, I need to get a lobotomy or something.
Yeah. Because back then it's
which is sad.
It's looked down on. It's like almost like you got a mental issue. Yeah. So he thought like, okay, I'm just fucked up. I just have to go find out what's going on.
I need to seek a doctor.
Yep. So he went to the crazy hospital. And then at the crazy hospital, he met a nurse named Bonnie Nettles.
Hell yeah, Bonnie Nettles.
Mm-hmm. And then they spoke for a little bit, and then after they talked, they both had an interest in biblical prophecies. So they had like a kind of like a bond. They started connecting and shit. They're like, oh shit!
At first sight, they said
you like that crazy UFO shit too. It's like shit. Say no more.
And you gotta think about like back then. It's like when you have an interest with somebody you just met the first time, but it's like you didn't think nobody else had an interest in that shit too. You're like, yo, we just became friends. Yo, let's start a cult. Let's get it.
See, like the nurse actually approached him with all these weird questions and stuff, Yeah. And the nurse was like, I feel like we met in a past lifetime a long time ago. And he was like, I kind of feel the same way too, And it's crazy how it all happened because it happened in a psychiatric ward.
Yeah, the irony.
Yeah, I was like, you would think the nurse would want to help him. But she's actually creating a brand new problem.
She should have been, man. I would have got a lot of my students from that place then. I mean, if you work in it, you might as well recruit. Right.
She's like, help me, nurse. Like, the nurse like, hey.
I can help you, but
you want to see a dead body? Yeah, so the nurse was just like saying, oh, yeah, we met like in a past life. And they just connected, and then they became like really good friends.
And that's a whole other thing too.
And then Bonnie also told Applewhite that a monk from the 1800s often spoke to her and provided her with life guidance.
Mm-hmm.
So she was dabbling in shit where she was in the spirit world, where she was talking to a monk from the 1800s, and he was giving her all this information on guidance and how you're supposed to lead your life in order to reach like a higher level of existence.
Did they even say that in the documentary or no?
No.
I didn't think so either. I thought I missed that. I was like, did I miss that in the documentary? When I was reading like about it last week, I was like,
Yeah, it wasn't in there.
sure. Okay.
Yeah, this is what I found like off the documentary.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just make sure because I was like, I remember they talking about some damn monk. I think they said they ran a monastery like monks, but not so much where she meets a monk or whatever.
So she was like, she was getting information about how to guide people through like their type of religion, and then she wanted to bring that into the world and start like a new religion with Mr. Applewhite, because she felt like she already knew him in the past life. So she was like, okay, you're gonna be my partner, and we're gonna run this cult. And together they're like, hey, let's do this.
A whole new world.
Let's do this.
All right. When we start with Bonnie's origin and shit.
Let's know about Bonnie
All
Nettles.
right. Bonnie was born Bonnie Truesdale, August 29th, 1927 in Houston, Texas, right? And so she was raised in like this Baptist household, and as an adult, she started to move away from religion, and around that time she became a nurse. She wound up getting married to like some kind of big business dude named Joseph Siegel Nettles, and they wound up having 4 kids with each other and everything, right?
Oh.
So after they had 4 kids, and around the same, so they got married. It was December 1943. They had 4 kids with each other and all that. So around in like I think it was like 72. That's when their marriage started getting a little bit of rocky. You know, things started getting kind of like a little flaky. It was going down the wrong path, and it was because she started getting involved into a lot of like spirituality and stuff like that, and trying to contact spirits. And I guess it was starting to interfere with her marriage and whatnot. So she would start conducting like seances, trying to speak to the dead and whatnot.
Damn, old Aleister Crowley.
Yeah,
ass.
and that's why I always had a theory if that's where she kind of got into the stuff about learning about from Aleister Crowley.
Aleister Crowley started that shit, dude.
I think it all originates from him, man, in some kind of weird way. Like
He left that door open, and then people just kept on going in and out that door.
Start peeking in. Like,
But then, like, the spirit world kept saying, hey, we found another one that wants to fucking join this shit. Because, like, her teachings, like, the way she was talking, like, we'll talk about later, but, like, her roles and shit, is some of it was, like, similar to what Aleister Crowley. And Aleister Crowley, he got this shit from, like, an Egyptian god. You know, the Egyptian god told him to write all these laws and rules down.
Yeah.
So this shit's coming back full circle.
Hell yeah. See, Aleister Crowley, what'd you start, man?
Damn, we're next.
So she winds up doing all these seances and whatnot, and eventually she winds up hitting a point where she comes across this monk from the 19th century, right? His name was Brother Francis, right?
That was 18th century.
Is 18th or 19th?
18.
18. Yeah, it would make sense more like 18.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Fuck it.
It's
A long time ago, people. Yeah. So his name was like Brother Francis, and they basically spoke with each other back and forth, and he would give her like instructions. And she also went to go see other mystics and guys and fortune tellers, right? And that's where they were also like, oh yeah, we know who you're talking about, but we have some news for you too as well. Basically, like she was hearing from fortune tellers that she was going to meet a mysterious man who was tall, with light hair and a fair complexion, which the description basically was closely to what they was describing as Marshall Applewhite's appearance. And so as time went on,
But also, she haven't met him yet.
But they have not met yet.
But she was told that she's gonna meet a man named Marshall Applewhite. Well, not what the
description of him. Yeah. The description like light hair, fair skin, whatever the fuck that means. And then they was like, before this man even showed up at the hospital, the crazy place. And so also too, she also was into like astrology and all that stuff, theology. Like she was theosophy. She's into all that stuff, man, and the occult. And so she wants to meet him in March 1972, right? And when he was at the hospital, Applewhite went to the hospital to go visit a friend that was there that was admitted to the hospital. He goes to the hospital, and the nurse that was working there was Bonnie, and that's how they met. And she winds up describing about when they first met. It was almost like the first time their eyes connected. she felt something, and that's when that thing happened. Now, as far as I know, they've never had any kind of like sexual relationships at all. They was never smashing, nothing. They were just like connecting on like on a spiritual level
It's all
type
business.
shit. It's all business. So they was trying to start a movement.
Spiritual world business.
Spiritual world business. The problem with this spiritual world business is that it made her get a divorce from her fucking husband eventually. It led to that. And she got a divorce. And she also had a daughter who was like 19 at the time. What was her name? I think it was like Terry Nettles, I think her name was. She was like 19 at the time when they got the divorce, so she remembers it vividly. But yeah, it's just like the marriage just started falling apart because she was showing all this attention to, you know,
her group, her
to
cult.
Applewhite. Just before even the cult shit. This is this is where Applewhite. This is like the origin story still. Like with Applewhite, she showed a lot of attention to him, and the husband and them was already having a rocky relationship because she was into seances and stuff. So that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and that shit ended. And
She was pretty much like a new lady. Like she wasn't even her normal self anymore. Like she went full time hardcore. Like she's a believer, and she just switched the switch up.
Yeah, because she seemed like she was in it. Obviously, she was in it before she even met Applewhite. And then when she met Applewhite, she was like
Applewhite.
I mean, that's Applewhite, Applewhite. I was about to say Apple Jacks, but it's Applewhite. There you go, Applewhite. With so when she met Applewhite, that's when she I guess was like, oh shit, like if you're into this and I'm into this, how many other people out there are probably into this? Maybe we can get something going, and then they just ran with it. So that was how that's how they met at Love at Spiritual Sight, I guess. I don't know how you would describe it.
Mm-hmm. So like together, like they blended a whole bunch of religions and teachings. Basically, they're picking everything that they feel like is like the right message, and then they threw it all into their own religion. Like what you said, mysticism, astrology, reincarnation, some of the Presbyterian stuff that he learned, like when he was brought up, because he was actually brought up like in a religious household, and his dad was like a minister and stuff. Yeah, and they both believed that they were chosen to fulfill the biblical prophecy, and they've been given like a higher level mind than other people. So their mind was able to, you know, see things or understand things that our minds can't understand because their brain is on a different level. Like they can hold knowledge that we can't. That's why we can't understand some shit. That's like some people that's like you can tell like they have a lot of wisdom. Yeah. It's almost like they were kind of born like with that wisdom. Because when you speak with them, you'll just think like, damn, like where the fuck did this guy how he gets so wise like that?
Like how long he's old, but like he's from like a whole nother time period.
Yeah. And not just like somebody that's old, like you can speak to young kids too.
They can be wise too, yeah.
And you will listen to how they talk like, damn, this sounds like a wise ass kid. And he's not even trying.
Or a wise soul inside of a kid's body.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Trapped, man.
It's like it sounds like you reincarnated like 1,000 times, one too many times.
One too many times. You used to be an Egyptian prince. You sound like one.
What are you, a philosopher? Like the true philosophers, I think, are the people that the one that really know like the higher knowledge.
Yeah, you got to think outside the box, like out of like this world that is constructed around us. You have to think outside of that boundary that's set for us.
Right. It's like those people that they can predict shit happening in the market or predicting something that happens in the future. Yeah. But actually, they had so many lifetimes that they're seeing a pattern happen. So it's natural for them to say, "Oh, I see this happening in the market, or I see this happening in the future." Yeah. So it's like they're naturally predicting it because they went through this shit many lifetimes already. They're seeing like humans go through the same shit.
It's like once you know how the game is played, it's easier to like predict what's gonna happen next sometimes, man.
Because you've seen it so many times.
You've seen that shit so many damn times.
Yep.
But on straight up shit though, another thing that I always thought that I always thought that old dude's name Applewhite. I always thought originally that he was the one that was. I thought he was like the overseer of everything. Maybe it's just because I was thinking like from way back when, like just from some stupid ass thinking like, okay, he was a guy, so he probably ran the shit.
But he did like technically, it's like he's kind of like the leader of the cult. It's kind of like he.
It was like he was kind of like the face of it, but it was more like she was like kind of like the brains. But I know when they first started it, like in 75 or 76, they were seeing each other. They was kind of running as equals though, so they weren't trying like stepping over each other and shit like that. They were like beefing, like, oh, I should be the one to run this shit. They was like they was going like hand in hand with each other. And there was one thing I started learning too, when I was doing some more research about it, how they was running when they started Heaven's Gate and all that. They ran it in a type of way where it was like, like the people that started joining, they lived under a complete system where, and they even talk about in a documentary where if you was like an average person, living on the outside looking in, and you saw like a list of all their rules and shit, you'd be like, what the fuck? This shit's not fun. How's this? How are these people enjoying themselves? Where on the inside, these people like, I've never felt like I was a part of anything in my life, and now I'm being able to work with other people who are like-minded like me, and we all realize we're coming from the same struggle. We're not trying to fight over each other like who has it worse. We all know we just came from a struggle or a world that doesn't understand us, and we're learning to work with each other. And I just enjoy being there because like-minded people, and we're all working for the same goal. And it's not like all this other bullshit that's going on in the real world, like wars and stuff, and all this stuff. It's like we're trying to do something. So that's why I was like, that's why I was like, when you mentioned before about how Heaven's Gate did stuff from a malicious place, I agree with what you were saying before now, because that wasn't their intention. It seemed like they were legitimately trying to start something new outside of what an already destructive world. Because that was like around like they started flying off the cuff of like Vietnam and shit like that, which was like a war that a lot of people disliked in America, and racial tensions in American time, like civil rights and all. So it kind of seemed like they want to separate themselves from the bullshit and try to start anew with something a little bit more hopeful and something that everybody can work under. So I get what they were trying to do for the most part in the beginning.
Yeah, and like another thing is that a lot of the members, they weren't like people that didn't have anything. Like they had families and everything.
Yeah, full-blown families. Yeah, they weren't like...
They had good jobs, everything. And they believed like Bonnie and Applewhite so much that they took their shit and then they left. They left their family. That's how hardcore they believed with this shit. They
for years
grabbed their bags and said, "Peace out, little Billy."
Like this world don't work for me no more. I'm out. I love you guys.
I'm out. Take care of yourself. And they fucking left.
And they was always like, we know we heard a lot of people doing this, but we just like this world ain't for us anymore. And I get it on some level. I mean, this time too, I watch some shit and I'm like, oh God, just put me in a spaceship and get me off this planet. Like this shit is too much. When you see like ignorant shit going on in the world, you're like, what the fuck? Like, maybe I don't belong here, because I'll be thinking on a different level sometimes. But they was on something. Let's get the hell off this planet and leave.
Yeah, so like their ultimate goal, like for everything, is for them to ascend to a higher place in the kingdom of heaven. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to reach like a sort of like an enlightenment to where they forget like the human life, and then they're able to reach a point to where their conscience can jump out of this body and UFO will take them up and then take them to the next level.
Yeah, because like I think they had it before, like with their belief was like the earth was going to be like recycled, or like basically there's going to be a rapture that's going to just wipe everything all out, and they was trying to get the hell. And it was supposed to be in like I think around the year 2027 the world was supposed to like hit the rapture point or whatever, but they were trying to get the fuck out of there way before it happened. I think that was pretty much one of their main goals. And then like another thing too is like they started off being like, okay, your physical body is going to be taken up into the ship once you reach this level of enlightenment, right? And once you hit this level of enlightenment, the ship is going to take you off to like a different location.
Like a different plane.
Like just a whole plane of existence where you're far away from this shit. Over time, though, they started figuring out like a thing called like walk-ins. Did you hear about this?
Walk-ins?
Like walk-ins. I came across a Wikipedia and I had to keep looking it up. So what it is like... They said like when you feel like you made that transition to when you're ready to the next level is when, say for example, right, with your regular soul, say like if you're a child and you and your parents leaving a movie one night and you go down a dark alley and your parents get shot and murdered or whatever, right? You're traumatized. Your soul is completely traumatized. Once you start coming to terms with that trauma, as you get older, you start to understand it. That soul that you have in you leaves. And then an extraterrestrial soul called a walk-in comes in and enters your new body. And so the thing that was causing you pain before that caused you trauma, this new soul has no connection to it. So now you're like, I've moved past it. This is the new me. And your old soul is gone. Like that pain and trauma. So it's like the world, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what it was like a walk-in for. And that's when like, okay, now you can start working on reaching to that next level to like when you're here on this earth, your soul's gonna leave your body and go to the next level.
You think that's what happened to Bonnie Nettles? Like because
that's where it switched to. That's what they started going with. That yeah.
Because like the way like they described her is like they're saying like okay, like the Bonnie Nettles with the daughter, right? Mm-hmm. It's like that mother is gone. Like that's not the same mom that
Whole
like,
different
the
person.
daughter grew up with.
Yeah.
So like yeah, like her daughter's sad. It is sad that she, her mom don't even want to visit her or nothing. She'll just write her like a couple of notes while she's out on the road.
Yeah.
But she never visited her.
And that's where that's where I think you see where when I talk about the walk-ins right now, and you see what happens in coming soon in 1985, which is when Applewhite kind of starts like it. Her passing away does not match up to, even though this is what they believed in, like the reverse, like the walk-in, the new soul coming in. Even though that's what he believed, his reality and what he believed started like clashing. He's like, okay, like I know this is what I believe. Like her soul's up there now, but I see her dead now. But he's sort of have it's like a conflict, I guess, with the with his beliefs.
So like Bonnie and Applewhite, they started to spread this message to get more people to sign up. So in 1973, they kind of like went on a tour across the United States to spread this message. They went to like a bunch of churches and stuff, and then they started like delivering the message and putting signs up everywhere, like, hey, UFOs, if you guys want to, transcend or whatever, we'll teach you all about this. So a lot of people, they would go to these events and they would listen to them talk, and then people would just get up and leave because they sound fucking crazy and shit. Mm-hmm. So they would do this tour, and then they would gain like followers and stuff. Mm. So then they ended the tour in Oregon, and this is where they told 20 people that a spaceship was gonna come to pick them up in Colorado. So so like the people they really believed them, so they actually followed them all the way to Colorado. Mm-hmm. And then when they got there, they laid in the field, and Applewhite is like, okay, just wait, guys, it's gonna come. But guess what? It never came.
That reminds me of remember back in the day with Prophet Yahweh?
Yeah.
That reminds me of that shit, man.
So all those people that got pissed are like, man, fuck you, Applewhite. We're out, man. But there's I think 2 people that stayed and they still believed.
Okay.
And the rest was like, nah, I left my family. I'm gonna go back to my family now. You guys are fucking liars.
These aliens stood us up.
But then okay, so actually one person that will stay behind.
Okay.
Yeah, he's dead now. But in 1975, Applewhite, he was arrested for not returning a rental car.
What?
And he was locked up for 6 months for that.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Locked up for 6 months. And then after he was released, he traveled to California. And then him and Bonnie, they went back to Oregon, collect more followers.
Damn.
See, back then you had to work to get followers. Not not nowadays, like on Twitch.
Show your ass and shit on Instagram.
Yeah, or Instagram.
You gotta work.
See, when you think about it, it's like everybody's making their own cult, right?
That's
Like
some real shit. That's all social media is. It's like, hey, follow me.
micro cults.
Yeah. They got no fucking substance.
Like, oh, he got 2 million followers. And then, just because this guy has 1 million followers, he got that check mark. Mm-hmm. People.
They special now.
Yeah, they're cool people, supposedly.
Like, let me follow them. I'm going to follow everything they do. They just bought a purse for $300K. Cool.
Yeah. So people creating their own following, but the substance is not as
I don't mean shit.
doesn't mean shit compared to fucking these guys.
I wish there would be like another Apple Witch without the suicide shit.
Applewhite.
Applewhite. Well, I keep.
Been
I think because mysticism. That's what I keep thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I keep thinking. Apple Witch.
It's the Applewhite.
Applewhite. Walter White. Applewhite.
They're saying our bodies are containers, like vehicles.
Vehicles, yes.
All it does is just hold our souls. That's pretty much what our
No,
bodies.
I do believe that though. I do think it's like this is a show.
It basically is.
All it is. The consciousness.
That's why scientists are trying to fucking take your conscious and put it into like another body and shit. They've been trying to do that.
That's what it does. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Like, this is just a meat. This is a meat shell. That's all it is. It's just gonna expire, get old, but this in here, it's just gonna travel throughout light years across the multiverse, man. So on some shit like that, it's like, yeah, I always did think it was just a vehicle. I mean, what the fuck, like, you'll just move on to the next one.
Okay, so Applewhite believes that in order for you to ascend to the next level, you have to start to like give up a lot of your like vices and shit, like alcohol, sex, jewelry, give up your family, hentai, anime, trading cards,
crack cocaine.
You gotta give up your vegan diet.
All that shit. What do they eat anyways? I wonder. I don't know.
the 8, the sound of magic.
Frequencies.
Sounds like jack of clubs. But yeah, then they were also required to adopt biblical names, which is cool, I guess.
I was still trying to understand it, how they... It's always Odie after something. Yeah, but I was like...
Like the ending of the name ended with ODY.
ODY, yeah. But it's like a part of your half of your first name too, I think.
Right.
So it'd be like, for you, like Bill Odie,
Yeah.
I guess. Chris Odie for me.
BBOD.
BB Odie.
But yeah, they changed everything. They gave up everything. They gave up all that. They gave up all their money. And actually, there was like one member, like the reason why they were surviving for so long, like one member got an inheritance.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. His cousin's father had like some kind of like, they own like some kind of American telephone company up in like somewhere in the New England area or up north somewhere.
Yeah.
But he was getting the trust funds from his father's company or the father's empire or whatever.
Yeah, so he received like 300 to 500,000. That was rumor.
Yeah.
But then this is how they were able to survive and then travel from city to city,
Live in houses,
living in like
mansions,
renting out apartments and mansions and stuff. This is
Yeah.
how they were doing all that.
And it was pretty smart too. It was a pretty smart idea because in these houses they would have like 15, like 20 people living in that shit. And then at this point, did we ever explain why they was called? Like they changed their names to Bo and T, but that's a whole nother thing. Like
Thought it was Do and T. Doe.
Doe and T. But I think they got it from Sound of Music, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what
some shit. But so with Applewhite, they want to figure out an idea with all these people living in the house. They were like, hey, we're only gonna say like maybe these are the designated people that can leave the house. Maybe like 4 to 5 people. That's the only people that can leave this house. Everybody else has to stay in there. And it gave the illusion like these are the only people that live in the house. Because if you see like 15, 20 people coming out all the time, it's like nosy ass neighbors gonna be like, no, hello, 911. I think there's an orgy going on, and they're gonna fuck it all up. So
Yeah.
you send like to designate people out. They make sure everybody sees them all the time and kept people off their backs and shit. So that was like, okay, that's kind of smart. I'd been mad like, yo, can we like switch this shit up every year? Like I want to be like I want to leave this house a little bit too, you know.
Yeah, see, like, but the thing is though, they moved so many times.
But
because,
they moved like
they were being tracked down by like FBI and stuff.
the media.
Well, not the media. It's the members of the group. Like their family members are trying to find them.
Oh, and they said like no. And
Yeah, they were trying to find
That's
him, so
right.
they hired like FBI. It's like, hey, find Ricardo. He's missing. He went to some crazy church people stuff.
And I was trying to think too. I think remember we were talking about the guy who was like his father or his father's company was financing that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Was it his father? Was it the guy's father? One of their fathers like had connections to the FBI, and that's when they was like chasing them all around and shit too,
Right.
the Oregon and all that other stuff.
So this is why they were always moving. They're always on the go and shit. They're like, oh, we gotta pick up our shit and go. They're after us.
They be camping out and shit too.
So all right. So in 1983, Bonnie she got eye cancer, right? And then they had to remove her eye.
Yeah.
And that's the story that they gave. And to me, I was like, bullshit, Bonnie.
What do you think? You think it was fake?
One of the members punched you in the eye because you lied to them about that UFO in Colorado. So
Really?
punched her in the eye so damn hard that she gave her
Shit blew out.
blew up her eyes.
Damn.
But no, she actually did get cancer.
I was like, damn, I didn't even think that far ahead.
Yeah. So Bonnie, she's like the head leader. She knew all the information, everything.
Yeah.
So after she got cancer in '83, they took her eye out, and then a few months later, she passed away.
Yeah, it happened like
It happened real quick.
I think, or was it when they took out her eye, or was it when
It was after they took her eye.
it was like 3 weeks or some shit like right? And I had already spread it to like her liver or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it was soon. It was, and then she left Applewhite all alone. Applewhite, he broke down pretty much. It's almost like he lost like connection.
I think he was struggling with the religion they had created for themselves and the reality of it, because there may be a part of him that was like, you could tell like when he was like doing like his little video speeches and all that, he'd be looking at the camera and be like, yeah, T, she's still with us, and her soul went up into the heavens and she's in the next level, but he's about to cry. So it's like, there's a part of him not really believe that in some kind of way, you know what I'm saying? It's like
It looked like he made it up.
It's like a disconnect. It's kind of like, oh fuck, like motherfuckers can die, and even though I'm believing that her spirit's gone, I can't accept the fact that she's dead. So it's like, because if she would have left and went to another place, you'd be like, let's throw a party for Bonnie, yo, gang gang. Well, she leveled up, da da da.
Yeah.
But I always just felt like he just like he couldn't like really come to terms with the reality of it. Yeah, and that's when everything started taking like a little turn for the worse. But I know what was messed up too is like after Bonnie passed away, the daughter I talked about who was like 19 years old back then, Terry, I think her name was, she didn't find out till like almost 9 months after the fact that her mom had passed away because they was trying to keep it a secret. And eventually, I think it might have been more than likely since Doe was running the show, was like, yo, just let her know. And that's when they sent like, they sent her like a letter explaining like, your mother passed away, which is kind of fucked up because she hadn't seen her mother since forever. And I think that was like a huge thing. Like one of the things where with Heaven's Gate, I was like, okay, I get the message. I can kind of see just trying to make the world a better place, at least maybe for themselves. But anytime, folks, listen to me. Anytime you're in a group or whatever that makes you feel special, but they're trying to cut you off from everybody else, that's a red flag right there. Get the fuck out of there. That's because they're trying to control you. And that's how it was with like I haven't seen my son, my father, daughter, whoever the hell ever. I haven't seen him in like 15 years. I've tried to call them. They won't give me no location where they're at. So it's like, no, it's sad at the end of the day because like some of these people who family members wound up joining Heaven's Gate, they never saw them alive again. Maybe he had a phone conversation with them or something. But it's just one of the things like they was just so stuck in that shit. Even when things are getting toxic with the way Applewhite was starting to act too, or starting while he was starting to think, they were still standing by him to like the fucking bitter end. So
I think that's when like the cult it took another turn, like an unnatural turn, because it was almost like Applewhite. He didn't really know which direction to take the group. Yeah, and he just started saying shit out of his ass, like saying, "Oh, I'm still communicating with Bonnie." It's like, no, the fuck you aren't. You're making up shit.
You're making up shit, man.
It's like he hit like the edge of the wall to where he's like, okay, I don't know what else to say to these guys no more. You know,
she knows, like, she does not tell me what to do anymore. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think.
See, but the crazy thing about it, like if you're thinking like from the outside, like, oh, this cult is a scam, but then when you look at it, it's almost like if it's a scam, like they pretty much played himself like on purpose.
So why would you play exactly? It was like
because I think they really believed
straight up believed it.
Yeah, they weren't like, okay, we're trying to collect members to get money to do something else, but it wasn't even like that.
And like you said too, like I agree with you on this 100%. They had no real ill intentions of wanting to hurt anybody. I do think they kind of saw the outside world as kind of like being so toxic. It's like, like if we believe what we believe in, we gotta separate ourselves from them because all they're gonna do is trying to stop us. I thought that was like probably one of the most damaging part about Heaven's Gate. But for the most part, I mean, man, they weren't hurting nobody. They weren't trying to set up like like dude in Japan around that same time, I think, or maybe in the early in the 90s or maybe mid 90s. There's a dude in Japan who had set up a cult, and his cult was fucking insane because he wound up releasing like a nerve gas. I think it was in the subway system under Japan.
Oh shit!
Fucking killed all these people and shit. But that was his cult. It wasn't like on that shit. We probably do an episode about that one day. It's an insane Japanese cult. We'll do that some other time. But it was like on that level. I think that might have been in the mid 90s. I think it was too. But it was like, okay, that's a cult that, like I said, Heaven's Gate ended in a very sad way. But out of like a lot of cults that are out there, this shit is nowhere near the worst. But I do think this is like a cult where people like nobody was manipulated into joining this group, and that's the thing where a lot of people to this day can't seem to wrap their head around. It's like, fuck, these people actually just joined in a free will. They weren't manipulated. They was helping each other survive. They was doing whatever they can to survive. Sometimes they were surviving off a lot of donations and shit. So it was like, damn, like, there was people that were supporting him that weren't even in the fucking Heaven's Gate. They were still getting support from outside.
Through the Patreon.
Yeah, basically I got Patreon for real. That's basically what they was getting. This is getting money on the side and shit. That's how they keep themselves afloat. So I mean,
it's like the funny thing about like the cult, like they didn't see like, well, it's not funny, but they didn't see like gender. Just like what's happening like today.
I noticed that, yeah, genderless. I didn't know that too. I saw like when I was rewatching the documentary, I was like, okay, yeah, like, okay, this whole genderless society, because I get where they're coming from, but I don't really agree with that at the same time.
Because they all had like a haircut where they all look like a guy.
To the point where when people died, they thought some of the women were dudes.
So they didn't know, like, you couldn't tell if it was a guy or a girl, but it's almost like they're like, oh, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They did.
So they all had that little bowl cut and shit. But what else is funny is that Bonnie Nettles, her daughter, she has the same haircut.
And she wasn't in it, so maybe that was Bonnie's idea. Like, oh, shit, yo.
What?
What if like Bonnie low-key missed her daughter? You know, she was away. She's like, I want all these women that join us have my daughter's haircut.
No.
No, I would think so.
I think her daughter just liked that haircut style.
Man, no. She didn't even want her mom being in that shit. Why would she imitate the haircut?
Because her hair was normal at that time. This is like when she's older, when she's doing the documentary, then her hair is like that.
Oh, I thought she had the hair. I was thinking like she had the haircut since like, I don't know, the 70s or some shit.
Nah.
Damn, I was about to go on a tirade. I'm like, yo, what if psychologically she missed her daughter and she was making all the females look like her daughter? Well, there goes my conspiracy. Fuck that. Never mind.
So like in the 1990s, right? Like when people were more using, like everybody's using the internet now. This is where they posted all the Heaven's Gate website and then all the stuff that they talked about on forums and stuff.
Yes, sir.
And actually, like the public can get in and type some shit like in the chat or whatever. They were saying shit like, you guys should go kill yourselves already. Like this is scam. This is bullshit.
I came across something like yesterday when I was looking up some stuff about the website, or you can they're still checking their emails and stuff too. They still looking for like.
Yeah, the site is still being ran by like members of the group.
Oh yeah, they still out there. Okay, you don't mind if I read this little part right quick from their website because it's very colorful. If you was on drugs, you would probably be able to smell the colors. Yeah. And it does, and then the way it's designed too, it does look like it was made in the '90s or some shit. Like
they never updated.
Yeah, just never updated. Like the format is in the early stages of the internet. Okay, so it's like Heaven's Gate, got like cool ass colors. It says whether Haley. I'm just reading from the introduction. It says whether Hale Bopp has a companion or not is irrelevant from our perspective. However, its arrival is joyous, very significant to us at Heaven's Gate. The joy is that our older member in the evolutionary level above human, the kingdom of heaven, has made it clear to us that Hale Bopp's approach is the marker we've been waiting for. The time for the arrival of the spacecraft from this level above human to take us home to the world. In the literal heavens, our 22 years of classroom here on planet Earth is finally coming to conclusion. Graduation from the human evolutionary level. We're happily prepared to leave this world and go with T's crew. If you study material on his website, you will hopefully understand our joy of what our purpose here on Earth has been. You may even find your own boarding pass to leave with us during this brief window. We're very thankful that we have been recipients of this opportunity to prepare the membership of the kingdom and then to experience the boundless caring of nurturing. So I don't know if they're planning another trip again, but it sounds like
here's basically what's happening. Mm-hmm. There's a comet coming by. Mm-hmm. Hale Bopp, right?
Hale Bopp, yeah.
Hale Bopp comet came by, right? Mm-hmm. So if you look through the sky, they said there's something on the tail of the comet, like almost like something else.
Just following it, yeah.
So Applewhite, he was like, wait, what's that? It's like something else, like following the comet. So he took that as a sign of Bonnie on a spaceship coming to pick those guys up.
Like, yo, our train is here, guys. Get ready.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, this is the sign. We waited 20 years. Like, this is it. So Applewhite, like, he was like, finally a message that I've been waiting for. So this guy, he was ready. It's like, all right, so we got to prepare for this shit. So we got to prepare like our bodies or whatever. We got to graduate and then hit that next level, which is like them ultimately all committing suicide.
Yeah, and also for all my science nerds out there, like with the Hale Bopp, the origin of Hale Bopp came from Alan Hale and Thomas Bopp. They were like scientists who were at two different locations, but they had discovered before 95, back in July 1995, they had discovered that there was a comet coming. It's like, hey, on this day around this time, you'll be able to see it with your naked eye. So they saw it like a couple years in advance or whatever, and that's when more stories. Also, what's the dude from Coast to Coast? Art Bell. They kind of like they was having. I can't remember if they had the members of some members of Heaven Gate on the show, but they wound up talking to him about the Hale Bopp comet or whatever, and they wound up saying like not Art was saying, but not what Art Bell was saying, but he was trying to get answers out of them, saying, okay, why is this thing so important to you guys? And they're like, hey, there's like something following behind Hale Bopp, and that's the ship, and we need to hop on it before it passes. It's like our only opportunity. But actually, Coast to Coast actually debunked. It was like, yeah, there's nothing else following it. And it was like, well, we don't care what it is. We're leaving. So it was like, you couldn't tell them nothing. It was like, yo, we out of here.
Applewhite was like, nah, man, that's our shit.
It's like, Art, I get it. You like conspiracy guy, but you too normie for us. So, like, leave us alone.
I thought actually like NASA or whatever discovered like it was actually nothing.
Yeah, well, I think it was like NASA. I'm not saying Art Bell discovered it, but Art Bell was like sounds like he was telling them like, all right, this shit is not really adding up.
But Applewhite, he wasn't having it because, like I said, like he was already pushed to like the edge of like the knowledge that he can gain because he wasn't getting no more real knowledge from Bonnie, and she's dead, and he's like, man, I don't know what else to tell these people in the group. So first thing I see that's out of the ordinary, I'm gonna jump on it and I'm gonna just say fuck it, let's go guys. And then he saw that shit with the comet, and he was like, this is it.
This is a sign. Like, hey yo. Like, yo, guys, hey. Yo, we got the sign.
Gates of heaven.
T is sending us the ship, all right?
Yeah, and he was already, like, old, and his body was already about to clock out anyway.
Oh, yeah, he was saying that just like, yeah, this vehicle's all beat up and bad. I was like, oh, he ready to go. Yeah. He's ready to punch that clock, man.
He was ready to get out of there. But, like, okay, so in 93, the cult spent, like, $30,000 to publish a full-page document in USA Today. To get more people to follow them and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I guess it kind of worked. Yeah, at the bottom of the ad, it says free admission. I was like, okay.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay.
What's
free? The catch?
Wait a minute.
What's the catch? They said that the numbers increased, the members nearly doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if all those people, like, if they could afford to, they went out there. Imagine how many people would have went along with them to go see T if all the numbers.
No, not all of them.
I'm saying like if they all did though, like all the people that like, because I want to find out this too, and I didn't realize this. Like after they leave to go to the next level, aka committing suicide, right? There were some people who weren't even involved with Heaven's Gate, who just saw it happen on the news and was inspired, and some people were committing suicide based off of that to go to the next level. And I was like, what the hell? Like, this shit was reaching outside of their own. Because there was some people was like, Heaven's Gate, what? UFOs? Like, oh shit, these people been thinking like me?
How true is that, though?
But it's like a couple people they found. There's like, I guess maybe like newspaper clippings they were keeping or whatever. But they was like never officially affiliated. Or maybe they had like, I think they may have gone and visited some of the victims who like they committed suicide. Maybe questioned the family. There's like, yeah, he was really into the Heaven's Gate shit. But he was never a member. So it's like people just a couple people popped up dead that was like never had the shitty ass haircut, never with all black, Nikes and shit and all that. They were never in that shit. They just straight up was just like a fan of it. And well, I think one dude who I think was a part of Heaven, like he wanted to be part of Heaven's Gate. Either he was I can't remember what the story was. He tried to commit suicide one time and it failed. And after he found out that the Heaven's Gate, committed suicide, he tried to commit suicide again, but this time he like shot himself in the head. So. That was like another dude. It's wild, man.
Yeah, I don't think suicide was ever the answer to.
No, not from the beginning. No.
I mean, because come on, if you think about it, right? Like, let's say, like, we are given this gift of living a human life. Why would suicide be like an answer to anything?
No.
Even like with religion, that doesn't even make sense. Like, hey, you guys you're here as humans to fucking enjoy and learn, about human life. Why would you end it short? You end your journey short. That makes no sense.
I think I have the answer of why, and they kind of explain it in the documentary a little bit, but it goes back to fucking. I think this is like the linchpin of a lot of problems that's going on right now.
My tailbone.
I think it all goes back to like a lot of problems that not every single problem, but a lot of shit sometimes of the goes back to Waco, Texas, with David Koresh and his cult. So he was running this cult. His whole thing was going on. And the ATF wound up showing up and like the FBI, and they raided the compound. Somehow the place got set on fire. FBI I think says like David Koresh's people started the fire. Some people who were supporters of David Koresh saying like the FBI started the fire. Either way, the house that he was living in got caught on fire, and fucking almost everybody got wiped out in the cult. Like kids, women, everybody fucking damn near died. It started inspiring like a lot of things going forward. Like for example, Timothy McVeigh, who did Oklahoma City bombing some years later after that, he was there when Waco, Texas was going down. He was one of the supporters of David Koresh. And so around that same time too, enter Applewhite. He saw that shit unfold and he started getting paranoid. His thing is like he was getting paranoid, and also too, his followers was speaking of like, hey, he feels like his time is about to be up and he doesn't want to die in it, like this movement to die in obscurity, he started offering the idea of actually them getting guns at first. And like, hey, let's go to the range, let's like practice our weapons, let's go and fight, and let's go out to blaze of glory. So then it'll make basically like, let's turn ourselves into like these heroes, and our messages will spread more around the world, and then we'll go out with a bang. And a lot of the members didn't agree with that shit. They're like, no, that's too. That actually goes outside of what we've always been about.
It's too painful.
And they was like, yo, I don't want to fucking get blown up and shit. Like we got to bring it back a little bit.
Yeah, because they're saying like some of them might still be alive, but they're gonna end up having a life being crippled.
Yeah, like
I
got no legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what does that have to do with like suicide being the answer for enlightenment?
Because was like at the same time, it's kind of like, well, it ties in with the walk-ins. Like, okay, we're all there. Because that was another thing that kind of like it kind of fucked them over a little bit. It was like, well, if your stuff is tied to Christianity a lot, why is suicide the answer that you want to go with when that's like supposed to be like the most ultimate sin? If it's anything like Christianity, which you guys believe in, that should be like one of the most worst sins that you could commit. And because it's like you can't take your life. Only God can make that choice for you. You can't. They taking the choice away from God. And so they try to. A lot of times they would try to work their way around. It's like, no, it's not really suicide. We're just moving on to the next life. Like, if you commit suicide, that means you have no. It was in a weird way. They would try to be like, hey, if you off yourself, but you have like no kind of faith of where you're going to next, you committing suicide. They kind of danced around and saying like, well, we have a destination of where we're going, so it's not really suicide. We're not dying here. We're just leaving our vehicle. It's like they was jumping through hoops to kind of make sense of what they want to do, but in the end, it was still suicide, no matter how you want to flip it. But they try to dance around it a lot, trying to not make it. But it's almost like they were trying to reword it into something else, and they really couldn't because.
I think that's wrong.
It is what it is. I mean, that's what they was trying to go for. They was really trying to dance around it. It was like. Yeah, like just, and like I said, it started going back to Doe's idea, or Applewhite. That was his idea too, because he wanted that shit to happen. Like, and I think he was just done. He just want to take somebody with him too. Like he didn't want to be alone. I don't fucking know. He was ready to clock out, man. But it's just weird because it started hitting a point with Heaven's Gate when they started getting pressed by when they was getting interviewed and stuff, and they was getting pressed with like some hard questions. They didn't like that shit, and they couldn't give an answer for it, and they started throwing fits about that. And I feel like if you can't take the heat, then get out the kitchen, I guess. But if you're gonna get scrutinized by the media, then make sure you better have some answers. And a lot of stuff they couldn't really answer when they was being pressed like that. So,
Shell Shock says, "I'm hoping to pass through Waco next month." Hell yeah!
Oh, take pictures for me. Take lots and lots of pictures.
All right, so in 97, the group, they all got together. They all record their farewell message to the world saying, peace out, guys. Adios. Because this is like the time where they're about to do the mass suicide where they're going to drink the fancy Kool-Aid in the $1 Million Mansion. It was like a 3-day event, so they all like took turns doing it.
Yeah. They were thinking there's like they was going like helping each other out and shit like that. Like, okay, people go, how was it set up?
It's like levels.
Yeah, it was like...
First level did it, and then they covered the bodies. Then second level they did it, and then the third level they covered the bodies. And then they killed Applewhite before the two killed themselves.
Killed him, yeah, because I think he got assisted by 2 dudes, and then they went out. But it was like... I think the way they described it was like it was pretty peaceful going out. It's almost like some kind of sedative that put them asleep.
Yeah, so they took something called a Frabicol drug. Frabidodil drug. However you say that.
Oh my God. I was going to just let you run with it.
But what that drug does is it slows the activity in the brain, commonly used to treat seizures.
There you go. I couldn't think of it, yeah.
So what they did is they mixed it with like applesauce and stuff, and then they chased it down with vodka, and they put a bag over their head, and then they just peacefully went out, I guess. And they were wearing Nike shoes, by the way. And the Nike shoes that they were wearing was like it was the 93 Nike Air Decade.
The black and whites.
That the Nike discontinued after
that shit. Yeah. Nike's like, oh, hell no. We ain't got no ties. They had a saying within the group too. Because Applewhite was such a huge fan. He was always been a huge fan of Nike shoes, right? They had a saying within Heaven's Gate. It was called "Just Do It."
Oh,
yeah. It was like a saying they had in it. Just do it.
Pun intended.
Yeah. He was a Nike head, dude.
Yeah. So Nike, I Actually, you can go eBay right now and look up those shoes. Somebody's selling it for like $6,600.
Jesus.
Yeah, $6,000 shoes. Fuck that. Does it come with fucking Applewhite
For real?
signature and shit?
Something. Shit. Does this give me boarding pass to the next level? Can I get on this shit with it?
Somebody snapped it from one of the dead bodies.
Yo, they had what was it too? So they also had like patches on the arm and shit too, like astronauts type shit. Like, yo, we.
That's a dope ass patch.
I saw the patch too. I was like, damn, I want to get it, but I'm like, how many people would know what that patch would be?
Put on the back.
Because I'm pretty sure you could probably buy it from Heaven's Gate website. I guarantee you could probably buy it from there.
Probably got on Etsy.
Get a little merchandise in here.
All right, so like all together, the mass suicide, it was over 39 people, which is like the biggest mass suicide ever in the U.S. history. Yeah. So like the members, they don't accept no new members, so there's no new members ever since '97. But there's 2 members that still remaining, living in Arizona, and they're still keeping up with the information.
So what are they gonna do? They're just all just die off, and then
they're keeping the website up and keeping the info alive.
But they're not accepting no new members.
No, they don't need no new members.
I
They don't really know what to do. You know?
For real. I was like, what are you gonna...
Like, even if they like connect like spiritually, I don't think they. Let's say if it's real, right? And Bonnie Nettles did have a brain that can reach to higher levels where she was gaining knowledge.
What if they're waiting for her to come back?
Those 2 members, if it's real, let's say their brain it's like normal, like us.
They
like,
can't really be what Bonnie was. Yeah,
right? It's like we're not able to collect these information and shit. So those guys, all they can do is just keep the information up. That's like the last thing that they're supposed to do in their life.
It's like, oh my God, we're not worthy to do this, so we just gotta either wait for the resurrection of Bonnie or Applewhite. But it's like, we're gonna sit here and wait until.
But if you think about it, like in world society now, it's almost like society is leaning towards like the teachings of
a lot of shit. Yes, I did. That did cross my mind too.
Yeah, the teachings of like Bonnie, whatever she wrote in the book.
It's kind of like picking some stuff off. It's kind of like, okay, maybe y'all adopting some things. Because I mean, now and more than ever, it seems like more people are stepping away of like, the religion of the old, and it's kind of like trying to find their own identity out there. And it's just the way of the world, man. Like true free will, which is what I know it's ironical enough to be in a cult and have free will, but that was what it basically was that on some level. Because they didn't force any. You could join Heaven's Gate and then leave any. Like if you ask Doe, like, look, I leave. I got. He'll cut you loose. Like, look, like one of the guy, like the guy who found the bodies. I think his name's like D'Angelo or some shit. He left the group at one time because he was like, hey, I just feel like I should be a survivor of this. Because basically, kind of like chickened out of this shit of the suicide pact. He's like, yeah, I feel like I should be like a survivor so I could like tell y'all a story. And he was like, okay, cool, I agree with you. Go your way.
Yeah, it's not like they're holding them
hostage.
hostage.
Holding hostage, yeah. So they had free will too. There was free will within it on some level, but
here's like another weird thing like I should have talked about a long time ago. Like when the new members, when they would hear like Bonnie and Applewhite talk, right? They said they would look at them, and it felt like there was like a glow around their heads, almost like it was like Jesus or something talking. Like they saw like a glow around them, and they're like, holy shit, like these guys are special. And then when he said that, I was like, what? I was like, are you tripping? Or is that something like they actually saw? Yeah. I was like, okay, I didn't hear them talk about this like in the documentary. Well, did they?
I don't remember, man. Because some documentaries are cool, but a lot of times too, it leans to one direction too much. I'm like, okay, there's like 2 sides to this shit. Sometimes it's kind of like y'all trying to make these people look fucking crazy, but I'm reading some stuff. I'm like, okay, I feel like they might be thinking on a different wavelength, obviously, but I mean. There's people who they kind of see the world in a perspective of how I see sometimes, where this world is completely fucked up and they really don't have any part of it. And they was like, yo, this whole planet is doomed. I need to get out of here. So some of the stuff I was reading, I was like, okay, I see where they're coming from. Cause I see it all the time. I'm not waiting for a comet to fly past, but I see on some perspective where they're coming from. And I wish the documentary like kind of swung both ways on like more perspective of like.
Yeah, but it's more the documentary is more of like a psychological thing. Yeah, where they're saying like how did like the followers become, like they believed it so much. They're saying like, oh, it's because like they really don't have nothing like based in their life that had like hold any substance and shit. So they were easily manipulated by like somebody that was strong in a cult religion where they were able to, hey, I'm a part of this community and I feel happy in this community and I feel like this is a real thing.
But I can't have sex.
Right.
Oh, speaking of, we didn't ever touched on the part. I don't know if you was ever gonna get to it. The castration shit
Oh yeah.
with the balls. Yeah. So I guess like they were having these moments of these men were like there was one guy, I can't remember his name, but he was like the guy like the kiss ass of the group, or like hey, I want to be the first one to like run in front of the line doing all shit. He was like a go getter.
So we're cutting balls. Anybody up for that?
Ooh, me. I'll go first.
Cut mine.
It's like chick with the short hair with the bowl cut. Used to be a nurse. Chop his balls off, and I guess the surgery went fucking wrong because I guess they said like his balls started swelling up and shit, and they had to take him to the hospital in order to save his life. Which all he did was wind up committing suicide with them anyways in the end. So it was like I should just like
oh, my bad, dog.
my bad, man.
We should have never done that. Like that's the wrong message. We got the wrong email on that one.
But apparently, not apparently, but old dude Applewhite too got his balls cut off too, and he was like, all right.
It's like
I don't know.
I die now.
But when they asked all the guys in the group like who wants to volunteer, almost every single guy was like, I'm gonna just be celibate, just
right.
I'm gonna keep the package.
I'm good. I'll just say no.
But that one guy who was a former member, he was like, I was like, I turned on MTV one day, which I was surprised that they have. I don't know where he's like, did they have TVs in these places? If I was running a cult, there'd be no television, none.
They only
I am
got
your entertainment.
They only got like approved like movies that they can watch, like Star Trek and shit.
Okay, it kind of meshes up with the
right
with their.
Okay, so like there's this book, right, that Bonnie Nettles she wrote. It's called Ruffles, Snacks for Thinkers, and a lot of stuff like in that book is almost like stuff like we're seeing in modern day, like what they're talking about, like with the gender shit. And they have quotes like a goal is not reached by just learning how to reach it. The goal is reached by doing what you learned.
Oh, okay.
Okay, she's on some real shit.
Bonnie with the hits, okay.
Another one is everyone interprets the truth at his own level of understanding. That's the real one. That's real shit. Yeah. That's why like when some people talk where you just can't understand them, like what the fuck are you talking about, Kanye West? It's because we don't understand like the level of understanding. Maybe that's like a bad example because people are gonna say, "Oh, Kanye's just crazy."
Yeah,
but if you think about it, like if you look at him deeper and see like the shit, hear the shit that he's saying, like, dude, this guy, he's on something else. I mean, it's not all crazy. I don't think it's all crazy. A lot of it is misunderstood.
And I think it's like another thing is too is like a lot of people come from different walks of life, and most people may have difficulty putting themselves in everybody else's shoes and kind of seeing it from their perspective too. So I mean,
yeah, it's like the shit that's going down like now, like with the Asian community and stuff.
Yeah.
People, they don't really understand like how Asians are taking it because they don't really know about Asian culture because that's not something that you teach in school and stuff.
Yeah. And actually feel real shit, yeah.
So it's not really talked about like that, like in social media. Like it is, but it's not. Like with the Black Lives Matter stuff, everybody was on it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody. Then it doesn't matter what color you are. It's almost like, okay, if you didn't talk about it, to say, oh, you're a racist because you didn't talk about it, or like, oh, you didn't want to be like the person that like it was left out in it and shit, something like that. But then like with this Asian shit happening, like all those people that I saw on Instagram doing that shit for the other stuff, I was like, hey, you guys didn't do it for us. Like you guys forgot about us. I mean, I didn't say anything about it because I know like shit's gonna hit the wall. But I didn't see like the same people do the same post about the Asian community.
Well, here's the thing too.
I thought that was weird.
Here's the thing. That could be a whole nother goddamn podcast. What I was thinking is that I was coming across a lot of stuff on not so much Twitter. You got some people on Twitter seem a little bit more wide awake than people on like Facebook. Facebook's kind of like a very, at least in my opinion, like a closed-minded community. But I would see like plenty of people asking the question of like, when was this going on, man? When's all this Asian hate started? I'm like, I was like, they came out with an Asian hotline last year because they was getting assaulted. So this shit, it didn't just happen like a week ago, or like people have been attacking them since last year, since post-COVID happened, and people start pointing fingers at them. Like there was Asian folks who was getting their fucking faces slashed in like Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was weird.
Who were like Filipino, like motherfucker, they ain't Chinese. Like why y'all even taking the time?
Shell shock.
Like you're not even like taking the time. Like you're just going after anybody who you think is from Asia, but you're not even like, okay, Chinese, Cambodian, don't matter to me. I'm gonna attack them. But even then, that's still ignorant. Such an ignorant thought process. But it's like if you have people that ignorant, I think a lot of the issue comes down to is that too many people with that whole shit last summer with the whole George Floyd thing. If the world was still revolving and there's no pandemic, I do think it would have still been ignored, just like a lot of other shit that happened with black folks getting shot in unjust reasons. Just that the pandemic and that shit was like the perfect storm to keep people's eyes glued to the fucking internet. Where this is like lives are kind of going back to normal, and some people just like I do see what you're saying though. It's not getting the same clout as what Black Lives Matter gets.
It's like me, like I feel like Asian, right? Like, yeah, I care about everybody and stuff. It's almost like we care about everybody, but people forgot to care about us. You know, I kind of feel like that. Like,
I think it might be a lot of times too. It might be a thing of where
what about us guys?
And like I said, I'm not very knowledgeable in the Asian community too as well. But it's like whatever this kind of things like, okay, you guys like whatever issues you guys have or whatnot, it may like suffer in silence. Where with the black community, it's like, yo, fuck this, we need to run out front and center and let this know. And now it's just kind of like I thought it was very ignorant last week when I just saw people posting, hey, I don't know when all this Asian hate started. I think it's being started by, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. I'm like
here's like another thing.
It's stupid when I hear that shit.
Like, it's like Asians, like they make a small percentage of like the U.S. population. Mm-hmm. So we can't really make noise like that'll stretch from everybody's feet. Yeah. Because like the majority of Americans are white, and then the second biggest ones, African Americans, and then Asians, like a small little pinch, right? Mm-hmm. So whatever like noise that we're saying is not really reaching a lot of people.
Because even with the Latino community is kind of like combined itself too with Black Lives Matter shit too. So it's kind of like they got their own.
Asians did that too. They did all that. Like when all that happened, they supported everything because we don't want to fuck with nobody, and then we don't want nobody to fuck with us. Like, hey, we're cool. You guys don't fuck with us. It's like that. It's like, hey, we're not doing nothing to you guys. Like, we're with you guys on this Black Lives Matter thing. Like we just want peace. Yeah. That's it. Because we don't. Asian people are not known to fuck with nobody.
I don't know. When I was living in Baltimore,
the majority of Asians, Asians not gonna go fucking pick on somebody for no reason.
I'm not talking about like run out in the street and fuck with people like that. But there's been times where when I've grown up in hood and all that in the areas I've lived in, where if you walk into Asian establishment, you will get harassed a fuck ton. And I was like, okay, you know what? I don't like being here. They're following me around. You know what? I'm not gonna burn this bitch down. I'm not gonna fucking argue with them. I'm just not gonna spend my money anymore, and that's why I just won't come back. That's just how it is, and it happens a lot.
Yeah, I can see that too.
So the harassment shit, okay, I don't like that, but I don't think it's an excuse for me to like fuck everything all up either. I'm like, I can just easily just not come back here, right. And that happens. I mean, that's it. It happens. It's
that those. I get what you're saying, and they don't understand either. I don't speak for all Asians, but I know the one you're talking about where they just said, "Oh no, fuck Americans, we don't trust them," And they look down on like other people that's not them because they're like, oh, these guys they always fucking shit up. That's why they have that bad view of like Americans and stuff.
Yeah,
like they just can't trust them. And that's why you see like in neighborhoods like that where they see like black people going like, oh, you better fucking keep your eye on this guy.
Yeah.
But if that generation's like that, dude. Even if you go to China, it's like they won't even fucking serve like black people. So
dude. Oh my god.
So it's bad too over there.
Well, that was another thing they never really touched on last year too. And I remember it was like, okay, when Asian people were getting assaulted, and they was only attacking like older Asian people too. They weren't going after the millennial Asian folks. They weren't fucking with them. They was always just going against the defenseless ones. But I remember last year too in China when COVID started kicking off, they started blaming the Africans that was living in China for that shit. And they was beating them up in public. So I was like, there's a lot of news that don't really filter to the top, and I don't know why. The news picks and choose about what it's an issue and whatnot.
See, like, but the thing that's different from like China and America, China, the majority is all Chinese people.
Yeah, for sure.
America is like a mixed pot.
Yeah.
A melting pot. So since it's a melting pot, we need to learn like in school how to fucking learn about other cultures and how to treat people right instead of being ignorant and not knowing shit about nobody's culture.
For sure.
Then fucking them up for that because they don't understand.
Oh yeah, it's always be like that because if you're gonna promote that America's going to be like this, and there's a place for anybody around the world that could come here and thrive, then y'all need to practice that on every level. Don't use it just as a gimmick to get people over here and then want to work these hard labor jobs that you don't want to do. Actually stand by your word on this is what it has to be when, hey, if you can come here, then you can be respected just as any other American. That's what I think. If you're gonna push that shit, then back it up, and that's how I feel.
I mean, a normal human, even like not even hear nothing from the government. You as a human being, you have responsibility to treat other people right by not even.
For sure.
Like if you're an adult, you should know better. Like if you know like you're doing harm to somebody, like do a reality check and say, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing harm to somebody?
I want to be treated like this? Because you would think something that you would have learned back in fucking grade school, treat others the way you want to be treated. I lived my whole life like that. If I ever disrespect somebody, it's because they had that shit coming. I'm telling you, that's how I've always moved my entire life. I've never stepped out of line or doing something to somebody where I'm like, oh, I just want to be an asshole. Because I'm like, damn, like even if I've done something I was kind of like, I didn't realize I was being a dickhead about, I'll even apologize to it. I'm like, damn, I wouldn't like that shit if somebody did that to me. So,
right.
Just check yourself, people.
Shell Shock says, more backlash against Black Lives Matters versus Asians, even though through U.S. history, Asians have had it rough as fuck too.
Yeah, this is thing I've been noticing too.
Asians had it rough, dude. Like just speaking like with my own culture, we went through fucking hell, dude.
Yeah,
like not just fucking maybe less than 50 years ago and shit. We went through a genocide. And wow, like just one generation, we went through a damn genocide, like back in the 70s and shit.
Yeah.
Where it was like a modern day Hitler going on in our country,
yeah.
where they were killing millions of our own people, dude.
Yeah.
And then we came here, like nobody really know our story like that. Like we went through a lot of shit, but
a lot of shit I've learned has been from when I was growing as an adult. Schools need to be teaching that shit too. So,
but like we're taught to like just like move forward. Like sure, like that shit it was fucked up that happened, but you can't just come to America and fuck shit up. So we were shown like show respect to this is not your country. Show respect for everybody. Like this is not even your country, and then learn to like get along or learn to work together.
Yeah.
And then now like with the violence we're seeing now and shit, to me it doesn't make sense because. Like the people like they're fucking up. It's like old fragile people. Like the old guy that they push where he went to the hospital, but then later he died. That's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
And then another one happened like in Oakland, like old guy. Like the families were like, hey, don't go out and to the grocery store by yourself. Like it's still kind of crazy out there. He ended up getting fucked up and he died.
Yeah.
So that shit is sad, dude. Like why it has to be like that? There's something happened within. I don't know, the knowledge just spread through internet. Something like from false information happened where they see Asians as like I don't know, a free target.
The thing I've noticed those too is like this country has a habit of going through these phases too. Because I remember back, and I never forget this shit. Back when 9/11 happened, there were people that they was beating up anybody they thought was from the fucking Middle East. There's people. I think still to this day, like the Muslim community is still getting fucking assaulted and murdered over something that happened almost 20 years ago to this year. It was like it didn't matter if you was from India or wherever you're from the Middle East. Back then, it was when something like that happens, this country has a habit of wanting to go like into like lynch mob mode. And like back in 2001, they were going around and Middle East people were getting fucking harassed, stores getting burned down, they was getting murdered. So this country is like they take shit instead of like breaking it down in a logical way and go the most extreme shit every time.
Right.
And it's always been an issue when shit like that happens in this country. I don't give a fuck what it's been.
That's a good example.
It's like they don't know how to like comprehend like, hey, this happened with this terrorist cell. Not the whole goddamn race, not the whole religion.
That's fucked up,
it's I'm seeing it like time is a circle, man, and I'm seeing it again. I'm like, we're going through this shit again. 20 years to the fucking day, 20 years to this year. I'm like, we're going through this cycle again. Something happens. They want to fucking demonize an entire race or entire culture.
Yeah,
and America's infamous for that shit every time.
Right. It's like they see anybody wearing like the rag and
Get
the
them.
Muslim culture and stuff.
That was murdering people who
like
was from.
They're all bad guys. Like two guys just fucking fucked up. Like
and it was murder. And there were like people from India and America were getting murdered. Like they're not even from the middle. That's like Asia territory.
Yeah.
You killing.
That's scary, man.
It's fucking scary, dude. It's wild.
They would get harassed at the airport, because they're like, oh shit, this guy's Muslim. Watch
terrorists. Oh, I'm on an extra frisk him at the airport. So
they're all terrorists. Like, man, that's crazy. Shell Shock says, this was what I brought up a couple times. You can't call it a China flu without repercussions. Same as how we had to switch from swine flu to H1N1 back then to to stop the pig slaughter.
Oh yeah. He talks about oh yeah. So and
Oh, look, you said the word Muslim in chat, and now they're
fuck.
they're seeing if I have to. I'll allow it.
Okay. I was wondering, like, yo, what we can hit up with?
Also backing up.
That's
what
a bad
Chris
thing.
Said, well, yeah. Also backing up what Chris said, it's all fear. We're taught to fear Muslims, yet we have a huge number in our own military. That's
Yes,
so
it's a lot,
crazy,
yeah.
man. It's crazy
Asian
how
people-
they
Asian
messed up
people.
like the Muslim community like that.
Yeah.
That shit is sad, dude.
And it's still like, there's still to this day, you'll see like, they attacked another mosque. You're like, golly, man, this shit is like 20 years later and it's still.
You want to know
an
like
ongoing
what
thing.
connections I made, like what's recently happening and shit. You know how last week, right, with the spa and the massage people, like, what was it, 6 Asian females got
Yeah,
murdered?
6, yeah.
And now, like, a lot of people are talking about it on the news, like celebrities and stuff. Like, a lot of celebrities are tweeting about it. So it's gaining, like,
gaining traction.
momentum.
It just sucks. It had to be 6 people, 8 people, but 6 Asians had to die for this shit to even gain traction.
And then this week, on Monday, Boulder, Colorado,
Got lit the fuck up.
10
people died.
10 people in a grocery store, right?
King Supers, yeah.
And then when I saw the name, I was like, holy shit, it's like a Muslim name.
What's his name?
It's something, but it's a Muslim name.
He look white, boy. He look white as hell.
Yeah, it's some Middle Eastern type of
Not to
style
say that
name.
he can't, the Middle Easterners can't be light skinned, but
So then I'm thinking, it's like, okay, because it almost feels like they're trying to take some fire off of that white dude, like take the flame off and switch it up back to the Muslim shit.
Yeah.
Because this is what I saw today, because I saw the name today, and I was like, holy shit, like what the fuck is going on? So I was thinking, right, like my conspiracy brain was thinking, I was saying, okay, like do they got a bunch of like Muslim sleeper cells, like just ready to go do like like something
Pop
bad,
off,
yeah.
like, let's take like, they getting too much attention. Let's
Like, okay, we got to get some heat off this Asian thing and then just send it to the Muslim community and then have a Muslim guy go to a random grocery store,
kill white people. Boom.
killed a bunch of white people. And they're like, okay, Muslims are bad again. We forgot about that white guy that killed all the Asian people.
Like, hey, like Muslim bad, white people got killed.
I thought that was so weird, man.
We have to talk about offline. That might be too spicy for Twitch.
Yeah.
But I was right on that same. I was almost there too. I was like, no, white people got killed. Like, seems like y'all trying to take attention off some shit, but that's on nothing.
I don't know, man. I feel like they're just trying to separate everybody because there is
They're
a lot
infamous for that shit, dude.
there's a lot of good in this world. I still believe
is.
like you guys can fucking change this shit around.
Yeah, I think people just need to stop and fucking look and listen to people, man. I learned so much shit. I learned from some shit. Like, there's a guy I used to work with a long time ago, and he's like I think he's like from Kentucky or some shit. But he talked about the town that he grew up in. A lot of racist white people in this town he grew up in, and they did not like black people because they thought black people were, even though they was going through like a lot of poverty too, at least they was getting the attention that this is what's happening to them. But there was like a lot of white people in this town that he grew up in who felt disenfranchised, was getting ignored because they would live in houses that had no running water and they have to walk like a couple miles down the road just to get clean water, like no internet, none of this shit. And so when you feel like with your skin complexion that you feel like you should be up on the top echelon with other white people, but you're being looked down lower than black people, a lot of these people will start hating black people. And then that's where it's kind of like the disconnect. Like, that's when it starts really happening. And I remember when he told me that, my friend was not like racist, nothing like that. He just told me about the perspective of like how some racist white people may come from or the background they come from. I was like, I understand where they're coming from. I don't agree with the racist mindset of how they getting like to this conclusion. But I see exactly where it come from. Where when shit's rough, sometimes you just want to point the finger at somebody. But sadly enough, it just turns into racism. But I mean, it's conversations like that people really need to have more and just try to understand stuff.
Mm-hmm. Shell Shock says, he says, we as Americans need to stop hating each other's race, and start hating true illegal aliens. Lizard people.
Hell yeah, let's get them.
Lizard people.
Lizard people, man. Wow. We got way off topic too. But I think we covered everything with the.
We covered everything. They all committed suicide. 39 people in a mansion, and
that was it.
They shot up to whatever plane.
If you guys
imagine they like fucked up and like, fuck, we're stuck in this mansion. Like we weren't supposed to fucking commit suicide. Now we're in limbo.
Yes. Oh, which is crazy too. One of the people they had in the cult was Thomas Nichols, right? His sister played Ural, I think. Ura. I can't remember how I pronounce her name, but she was on the OG Star Trek. She played the black chick on Star Trek back in.
For real?
That was his sister. But he was in the cult. I was like, damn it, man. Is that a coincidence? Who knows?
Get your boy.
She was like a long-standing cast member of the OG Star Trek with William Shatner.
Man,
Also,
Star Trek got their own cult following too, man.
hell yeah, dude. That shit is like not as crazy as Star Wars, but they got their own shit too, man. They get.
Star Trek on some real shit.
I think they're more closer to reality than Star Wars. I mean, we ain't got no lightsabers, but them little things they had like flip phones back in the day. That, Hey Scotty, let's get up out of here.
Like, beam me up, Scotty.
Pew. You know that's not that never you never said that in the show.
How he say it?
He never said it. That line never existed. That's another Mandela effect fact, and I just learned that shit a couple days ago too. That shit never. That's just that these days, dude. They've never said that in the show ever. I promise you.
I remember I was taking a shit right in public.
Okay.
In public somewhere. And then you know how you see all these funny ass messages that people write.
Yeah.
Some dude wrote he's like, beam me up, Scotty. And then like where he went to Scotty, like the pen went all the way up. Like he beamed him up.
Beam up, Scotty.
Like Scotty, like he didn't finish the T, it went all the way up. I thought that was funny as fuck.
That must have been like was it the subway?
No, it was like in school.
Oh, well, I thought it was like just at work or some shit.
No, they're not that funny in Atlanta. That's something a kid think of, man.
Yeah, that is actually pretty dope.
Beam me up, Scotty.
He was never seen again. The network. What's up, man?
What's up, network?
That's good, dude. But yeah, this cult shit, man. No, we really need. I took a personality test years ago, and one of the jobs I was offered was like cult member or cult leader.
For real?
Yeah, it was like one of the things. It was like, because you're charismatic and this, that, and the third. I was like, no, I'm not. And I was like, well, let's see kind of jobs I would be good for. And I was like, a cult leader? I'm like, you get paid for that shit? Okay, I guess.
You got to be creative and find a way to get paid for having a cult following.
I just open up a church.
Yeah. That's how they do it out here.
That's how they do it. That's how they get down in the South. I just found out there's a mega church around the corner from me, too. A big ass one. It takes up like, if you combine like 4 of my apartment, maybe probably 6 of my apartment complexes together, it would match up to the size of that mega church. And I never knew it was like within 3 miles from me.
Money grab.
I'm going to sneak into that motherfucker one day. Take that collection plate.
What else we got? You got anything else?
No, we covered everything, man. That was good, man. I think we knocked it out within an hour, then 30 minutes of like, real world shit.
Then it got racist.
Nah, good discussion though, man. I don't mind that stuff. You don't mind that talk.
Shell Shock says multi-level marketing jobs can be the same.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Gotta be charismatic. You gotta get these people to
sell the message.
I got a friend right now who's in sales, and I think she's doing all right. But I'm like, you gotta be a little bit more charismatic, man.
Car salesman is like that too,
Dude, I heard like on a list.
What's up, Stu Jersey?
Stu, what's up, man? How you doing, bro? They said like car salesman is like one of them jobs. It's like people that fill in like the position. Well, I think it's like psychopaths do like jobs like this, and I think it's like car salesman is like one of them.
I think
like,
so.
I think it's like a doctor's like almost top, like almost number one, because or not like, but it's like if you're a surgeon, I think it's like number one, because like in order for you like to be cutting people's bodies open and that should not be bothering you, there's like this shit's got to be something off in your brain on some level to like okay, I'm gonna go eat me a hamburger.
It's called programming.
Yeah.
You just gotta program yourself to do that. Because I don't think it was normal when they first started doing it. I don't think they're like, oh man, that's cool. They had to get used with the idea that this is what they're gonna be doing for a career.
Yeah, with blood. Yeah, because my sister's the same way. My sister used to get nauseous when she saw like blood when she was younger, and now she's like a nurse and draws blood all the time. So
now it's normal.
Now it's normal. Yeah, so
they
programmed her. They got her.
Yep. Shell Shock says I had a pitch where they discourage us from Googling it because of the internet lies. See, like the internet, it's so hard to trust anything now. So
it's tough, man. You gotta double check shit, man.
Just don't even look at it. And if you see it, you're like, okay, does it feel like it's a real thing or does it feel sketch? It's almost like you just have to be your own detective.
Yeah, that's how we like, even when we do like research for the show, I'm like, ooh, I might have to double check this shit because this shit don't sound right. And I'm like, okay. If I see a couple times, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to go with this. Somebody chat will check my ass on it. Shell Shock, that's why I need you sometimes to let us know if we going off like the beaten path, so.
Yo, Kim Kardashian, right? She tweeted on Twitter. She said, Asian are people too. I was like, what the fuck?
Get out!
Like, hold on.
Get out! Get the fuck out!
Wait, we weren't people? Like,
Yeah,
people don't know that we're people too?
Now you see what
I was like, what the fuck are we?
Now you see like with some people who with the Black Lives Matter movement be like, you know, Black Lives Matter. They're like, no, all lives matter. They're like, no shit, dummy. But we're trying to explain to you that, hey, we matter too as everybody else. And it's like, well, did we not matter to you guys before now? Like, does it like you see like stupid shit sometimes when you not now that you know.
When Kim said that, I was like, I was always people.
I was people before you dropped that.
Yeah, we've been people, man. What are you talking about? Like, is there people that know that we're not people?
You're gonna see some shit now, man. Now that the movement has shifted over to your side, you may see some stupid shit. You be like, what? Like, what made you think that was? And it seems like she probably thought it came from a good position. Like, you know, I'm trying to came from the heart. Like, you should not just said shit because you sound stupid, lady.
I don't want all that attention, man. You know, with this Asian thing. Like, I don't want people to look at me and be like, "Oh, that's the Asian guy." Like,
I love you.
Say, "Hey, man, you do your thing, Asian man." Like, I don't want attention like that. You know,
yeah.
That's why I was like, this might be like a bad thing and shit.
Nah, man. It's I don't think everybody needs.
You want to hear a funny story?
What's up?
When I was like in the subway, right? Homeless guy, he comes in, right? Mm-hmm. He's having a bad day, and he's just yelling at everybody for no reason because they're not buying his merchandise. So we started pointing out everybody in the train, right? He's like, you fucking cracker. Like, you fucking piece of shit. Like, you know, like, I wish you would suck my dick. I was like, holy shit, this guy's going to go through the whole train and make fun of everybody.
Going down the line.
Yeah. This is a black homeless guy, by the way. And then he pointed at the, like, a big girl, right? It's like, look at you fat bitch, like black bitch. I was like, holy shit, this guy is fucking crazy, right?
He's letting loose.
You know, like he wasn't pointing, but he was just yelling at everybody. And I saw.
But you know who he was talking about.
I was like, this guy is about to come to me next and shit, right? And then here's the funny part.
I think I see what it's going to be.
Here's the funny part. And then I was like, holy shit, he's about to make his way down to me because I'm the only Asian person on the train.
Yes.
When I got in, I was like, okay. I saw everybody. I was like, it was only white and black people.
Shit, I'm next.
I was like, fuck, this guy's going to make fun of Chinese people. But I was curious to see what he's going to say, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, what he said instead was like, and these motherfucking Mexicans.
I knew he was going to say that.
It's like these fucking beaners out here. I was like,
he's talking about you.
I was like, he talking about me.
I knew it. I knew how the story was going to end.
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm the Mexican guy. The dude almost busted out laughing, but I knew like if I fucking busted out laughing, he would have saw me and he probably would have.
The fuck's so funny, motherfucker?
Probably would have jabbed me in the throat. I was like, holy shit!
I know it. I knew that story was gonna hit that.
Yeah,
ooh, I knew that was coming.
But I was like, okay, he's gonna say some Chinese eating dog bullshit. But then he said some dirty Mexican wetback. I was like, cool, I gotta get off this fucking train.
Damn, I feel sorry for them. Next stop.
Yeah, that was wild, man.
Oh my God.
I thought it was funny though.
That was awesome. I felt that. I knew. I was like, damn. I was like, he better get called Mexican. I was like, I feel it.
That dude is wild, man. I see him every day. Every day he just cusses out everybody.
He just needs a hug.
So you black stink pussy. Oh, I can't say that shit,
man.
That's what he was saying though. But he would say stuff like that where I'm like, fuck, dude, someone's gonna light you up one day.
Shove you in front of that fucking train.
Someone's gonna light you up. He'll be selling shit like you're like, where the fuck you get that?
What he'll be selling?
He'll sell like, anybody looking for a slightly used Vans size 9? I'm like, slightly used? Like, who did you beat up for those Vans? Slightly used?
He said, they feel nice. I tried them on this morning.
It's like, save some money. $5.
Just gum on the bottom. Don't worry about it. It's just, you know, just put an ice cube on a gum. Let it freeze up and you just scrape it off with a window scraper.
He's dangerous.
Hey, man, I respect the hustle. Just stay the fuck away from me. I ain't got time for homeless people. There's a homeless dude that walked up to me. I used to be kind of homeless people, but I never forget when I gave a homeless guy $10 one time, and he was like, that's it? I was like, I would never do that shit ever again. I was like, I didn't even give him... Actually, in fact, I thought I gave him $1 and accidentally gave him $10. So when I got home, I was like, man, what's my $10? Because I was like kind of pissed, like, man, at least I gave the motherfucker money. And I looked at my wallet, I was like, oh, fuck, I gave him $10 instead of $1. And then I got even more infuriated. I was like, wait a minute, he said that's it after I gave him a 10 and that was an accident? I was like, I'll never help him out again. So when I see my Quick Trip down the street from me, they're like, hey, brother, can I'm like, no, I'm like, God, I was like, please don't bother me. And my sister, she's worse than me because she'll pretend like she's deaf and blind. They'll come up to a window, she'll be like this. Like looking straight ahead. And she'll look at him and be like,
dead face.
And she'll look at him like, just drive off like, look at him dead in the eye.
Well, they'll be cleaning my car window. I'm like, don't clean it.
I'm like, hey, I ain't got no cash, man. Just walk away. I ain't paying you for this shit.
Like, but I cleaned it already.
I appreciate your service. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate what you do out here, man.
Stu says, I just find it crazy you said homeless guy was having a bad day. It's like, no shit.
Yeah.
I mean, but not all homeless people have bad days.
Some of them be loving it, man. I used to work around homeless people.
Because like if you look at homeless people like in America, inner cities, like I know you guys are gonna say I'm crazy, but they're not really hungry like that. There's places in the city.
They'll find places to eat.
No, there's places in the city where they give out 3 meals every day.
Yeah.
They do it every day. They know where to get the food.
They go to food drives. They go to churches.
That's
Churches
why,
be good food, man.
that's why you see them like they still got meat on their bones. They're still big guys. They're all. If they were starving, it would look like a third world country.
Granted, you're not gonna see. I've never seen a fat homeless dude before, but
I have all the time.
I never
They're
have.
bigger than normal people.
I've seen like big guys, but not like, and maybe out of shape, but not like
Yeah, I see them.
round as like a beach ball.
They know where the food is at.
But some of them just want that shit,
the
man.
city, in the city.
They got the spots, man.
Any city, in any big city, if you see a homeless guy, they know where all the food is at.
That's why they hang out at Little 5 Points a lot, because they probably get food from Vortex. I said it here first. I'm like, Vortex is like the biggest restaurant on Little 5 Points. So I'm always like, why they always on the strip? I'm like, fucking Vortex.
Yeah.
Get that meal. And also it's like a huge tourist spot too. So, you know, they get money, man. They do their thing.
Yeah. That's cool.
Just stay the fuck away from me, because y'all get on my nerves now. Y'all,
Hey, they're people too, man.
like bougie homeless people. I don't like that shit, man.
Yeah, I'm cool with homeless people. It's just the one that are mean, where they harass people.
They're like, I mean, come on now.
That's not cool.
So I will beat your mountain church ass in the subway if you don't get the fuck away from me.
Because there's a lot of them that are super nice.
I'm like, man, a lot of them getting the clothes off your damn back, off their back if they could, man. They'd be like super chill for the most part.
Super nice.
But you got some of them assholes out here, though. Don't get it twisted. They wake up someone that's ready to go to hell. They're like, yo, I'm about to fuck somebody's day up. And I'm homeless.
You just got to watch out for the ones that you know that's on drugs. You just have to just have an eye like, okay, this guy is on something right now.
Tweaking. Yep. Keep an eye out for that.
Those tweakers, those are the ones you got to watch out for because they'd be quick to do shit to you, man.
You see scabs on their face, you be like, oh, he on meth. Because they pick at their face a lot, and they be scabbing up, and they be still picking. You be like, whoa.
There's one dude I saw, his eye was fucking like gushing with like pus and stuff.
Ugh.
Yep. I was like, oh, we gotta get out of here. I might catch something.
Yo, my man, just take a spoon and pop that shit out.
All right, we're gonna wrap this show up, guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So next week we don't have a topic yet, but you guys can join our cult.
Oh, that's the reason why we're wearing certain buttons up and ties too.
We're gonna start like cult, just like the Mormons.
We're gonna start a cult.
Mormon cult. All right, guys. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We'll catch everybody next week on Tuesday. Peace out. Adios.